Welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty wild, actually. A formal call for an immediate global pause.
On all conflict. Yeah.
Exactly, all conflict. Issued by someone named Josiah Haltom. And the really surprising thing, it's not just, political.
No, not at all. It pulls from legal arguments, theology, even metaphysics.
And it all seems to stem from one specific civil lawsuit in Henderson, Tennessee, of all places.
That's right. His core idea is that these huge global problems, wars, injustice, they're not separate things. They're basically macroscopic symptoms of dysfunction at the local level.
So like corrupt police, bad policies, poor resource management, that kind of thing.
Precisely. And this lawsuit, Haltom v. City of Henderson Police, or CHPD, he presents it as like the key case study, the diagnosis for the whole world almost.
It's quite a leap. A local lawsuit diagnosing global ills.
It is. He's basically saying, look at this specific example and you'll see the pattern everywhere. Our mission today is to really unpack that for you.
Okay, let's dig into the lawsuit itself first. Haltom says the CHPD showed, and I quote, willful disregard for material facts.
Ignoring evidence, he claims, like 90% of his submissions, even video.
Yeah, he accuses them of fraudulent concealment of truth. But then it gets, well, even stranger. He pivots to this
unknowable
framework.
Exactly. Which, for anyone unfamiliar, that's a belief system where people argue that
the only sovereign is the creator alone, and there is none else beside him.
Act was formed because they didn't respond to something.
Yes, formed by estoppel. He cites the Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC, after sending them this thing called an OPPT courtesy notice.
OPPT, what's that?
It relates to a movement, the One People's Public Trust, which claimed governments were foreclosed upon. So Haltom's claim is basically their silence was acceptance.
Acceptance of what?
Of his terms.
Yeah.
Which included, wait for it, a penalty demand of 1 million troy ounces of silver.
1 million ounces of silver for not responding.
Yep. For refusal to respond. Now, whether that's purely symbolic or a literal demand, it's presented as both. But the key thing here is how he frames the whole lawsuit.
How so?
It's not just his case. It's positioned as a public trial, a symbolic trial of the entire system.
Okay.
So every specific grievance he has locally, he maps it to a global sin. Evidence suppression becomes false justice. Unlawful detainment becomes wars for resources. Even that UCC claim, it represents economic idolatry, things like debt prisons.
Wow. Okay, so the lawsuit is the diagnosis, the microcosm of the world's problems. What's his cure then?
Right. The cure, he introduces this prophetic framework, calls the Josiah Jubilee.
Based on King Josiah from the Bible.
Exactly. Presented as a model for radically purging society of its idols.
Idol smashing. But we're not talking stone statues, are we?
No. These are abstract idols, systems. Things like artificial scarcity or manufactured consent, the propaganda idea, resource folly.
Okay. And this Jubilee economics, what's that involve?
It's inspired by Leviticus. Calling for canceling predatory debts, the return of stolen potential. He basically argues modern economics are just fundamentally immoral.
That's a heavy charge. Implementing that globally seems huge. Does he explain how? And you mentioned new vocabulary.
Well, the how starts with changing how we think,
which
requires, this new vocabulary. He uses a Kabbalistic term for the world's sickness, Sitra Atra.
Sitra Atra.
Yeah, but he gives it a weird spin.
Yeah.
Says it tastes less like forbidden knowledge and more like, that lingering aftertaste of a reality TV show reunion special.
Yeah, okay, that's memorable.
He calls it all manufactured drama, no actual resolution. Driven, he says, by the Mockingbird media fiasco, creating an illusion of separation.
So Sitra Atra is the fake drama, the illusion. What's the antidote?
The antidote is uncovering the Or Haganuz, the hidden light.
Hidden light.
An inherent truth, he says, accessible in everyone.
Yeah.
But it's obscured by spiritual cataracts.
Spiritual cataracts. Okay. And how do we remove them?
Through wembrance. It's a word he made up. Yeah. Defined as we are one plus our one equals victory. It's about collective awakening, remembering our unity, basically. Darkness just flees.
A collective awakening.
And this leads to something he calls Project Lazarus, humanity's collective spiritual resurrection, which brings about Year O?
Year zero, a total reset.
Yep.
That is incredibly ambitious. And it gets even more cosmic, right? He mentions a galactic ID.
He calls himself Ambassador Haltom, often in 417. Often are like these angelic beings in Kabbalah, fiery wheels.
Right.
And he declares, Your galactic ID is your first and final truth.
So our true identity isn't national or racial or religious. It's cosmic.
That's the idea. It makes all these earthly conflicts seem secondary.
Yeah.
Illusory, even. He even cites the Zohar, a key Kabbalistic text.
What does it say?
It prophesies that near the time of the Messiah, a certain star, or wisdom, will rule, leading to redemption and ending the rule of idol-worshipping nations. It all ties back to his idea. The only enemy was separation's illusion.
Okay, so pulling it all together, this global pause he's calling for isn't just a nice idea. He presents it as, what, a logical necessity.
Exactly, a non-negotiable imperative, stemming directly from the supposed findings of fact in that Tennessee lawsuit.
If local corruption mirrors global conflict.
Then pausing globally is the only way to treat the actual disease, not just the symptoms.
So the choice he presents is stark.
It's binary, yeah. Keep going like this, enslaved by the illusion of separation, heading towards, well, annihilation.
Yeah.
Or embrace Project Lazarus, collectively wake up, remember our unity, and usher in Year O.
Which leaves us, and you listening, with a pretty profound question, doesn't it?
It really does. What would it actually mean for the entire world to just pause? To remember some shared cosmic identity? What could possibly emerge from that kind of stillness?
This has been